How are you feeling? You got John Riggs here at your service, taking a look at some great games from Kemco for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Kemco, a lot of legendary games for the NES, a couple of hidden gems in there as well. We're going to cover all 14 of them, going to rank them along the way. And if you're new to the channel, thank you so much for watching. I'm a huge old school gamer. I love the new stuff too, but I do at least 2 videos a week. Make sure you're subscribed. There's always something new coming up for you. Starting off with a fun one for me is Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle. I would consider this a puzzle platformer. It just, in each stage you have to collect all the carrots to move on to the next stage, but the other characters from Looney Tunes are in your way and you gotta get rid of them. You can drop things on their head, you can pick up a punching glove or a boxing glove to toss at them. They'll kind of knock them out. You got these doors with staircases you can go up and down, and you can like time your thing just right so you can like get just past them and like not have to die or anything like that. Kind of like the portals on in Pac-Man a little bit. Or if you go on one side with the ghosts, then they don't, you don't interact with them. But you know what I mean. Fun puzzle platformer, and I'm gonna put this as a B. And then we have Bugs Bunny's Birthday Blowout. There was a time during this year where they were kind of making kind of a big deal about, the anniversary of Bugs Bunny, and it was just, it was a perfect time for it. And it's actually a really good platformer. It's missing something, I don't know what it is though. It's like, it feels like it's missing a frame of animation, or like you're moving a little bit too fast. It's not as smooth as it should be, but you do get used to it, believe it or not. It gets to a point where you just become, at first when you first play it, you're like, it looks a little stuttery, it just looks like it's missing something, right? And then it does get to a point where you just kind of get used to it, and it turns into a decent platformer. It's good. I've played it back through. It's good. It's nicely well done, and it's cool seeing the other Looney Tune characters show up as cameos for bosses and stuff like that too. It's decent. I'll put it as a B on this one too. I just wish there was a fix to make it so it would run more smoothly. I don't know how that would happen though. Desert Commander's that game where if you loved Military Madness for the TurboGrafx 16, well, at least we have Desert Commander for the NES. It plays like that strategy game where it's like, first you go and you move your pieces where you want to go, and then the enemy moves their pieces where they want to go, and then you move closer, and then you're head-to-head, and then you fight each other. Popular genre in Japan, and we didn't get a lot of that, at least at first, here in America. But we did get Desert Commander for the NES. Still, though, I'm not a fan of this style of game, so for me personally, it's a D, but it may be higher on your list. But I'll put it as a D. I mean, it's playable. I just don't care for this style of game. It's just, that's me personally. It's not you, it's me. Kid Clown, you could absolutely classify as a hidden gem. It's a game that not a lot of people are talking about, and it is a super fun platformer. It really is. Your weapon are these balloons that you can throw and lob, and that's how you attack enemies and whatnot. And you can also blow a balloon, and then it'll help you float down. If there's like a jump that you can't make the jump, you can kind of float down safely to get to where you're going. Kid Clown is absolutely great. If you haven't checked it out yet, if you're collecting, it's a little higher on the price side now. However, it's a fun one, and I'm putting that one as an A. Legend of the Ghost Lion is an RPG that's not like other RPGs for the NES, because you play as a girl, which is fantastic. I mean, your character in the game is a girl. And at the time, there was there was Dragon Warrior, there was Final Fantasy, there was Ultima. These kind of games that take place like in lores of your time or whatever. This takes place in a fantastical world full of fantasy and life and fun, and it's definitely a Japanese RPG. When you play it, it's a JRPG for sure, and I love the fact that it shows your face, when you win or if you get hit and stuff like that too. But it plays like an RPG. It's a turn-based RPG that happens to have a little different twist than you might be used to for an NES game. I also like the fact that it uses courage points. That's pretty interesting to me. I'm gonna put this one as a B. You might rank it higher on the list, but I'm going to put this one as a B for myself. If you're an old school gamer and you love turn-based RPGs, you're going to love this one. I mean, the box art alone, come on now. North and South is such a fun game, especially on 2-player. It plays decently as a 1-player, but this game was kind of like my go-to party game. I had a friend come over, and we'd play a ton of North and South. Loved this game. It features a few different elements. I'm only going to show a couple of them in this video, but it features the elements of, well, it's the North versus the South. You choose which side you want to be on. Will the South rise again? I mean, that's up to you. You can rewrite history books in this game here. And it's just a battle of land, and it looks like a strategy game when you first play it, but the elements are all fun Nintendo game style things. There's a platformer in there. There's a I like this mode where it's like your infantry plus your cannon plus your troops, and you have to control each one individually by swapping around and going from there. This is it's a fun one. I'm a huge fan of North and South. I'm putting this one as an A. It's a game I still like playing today. Rescue the Embassy mission is one I've covered on this channel a few times, and I have no problem talking about it again. It is from Kemco after all. So you start off with 3 people in stealth mode, and you have to go through and then jump in the bushes or jump in the window or hide in the doorway. Gotta watch out for these spotlights. If they find you, they're gonna start shooting at you. So this part, completely optional, but look through the windows. If you happen to see an enemy in there, you can shoot them in advance. That's one less enemy you have to kill when you actually go inside the building to save the hostages. Then you gotta come down on your rope, break through the window. You gotta come all the way down on your rope, gotta be super careful about it. Break through the window, and then it turns into kind of the over-the-shoulder mode where you're shooting the enemies, saving the hostages, and that's the full game. And every round, every time you play this game, it doesn't take very long to go all the way through it, but you can add the difficulty, add the, do other things. Change some settings and some options in there to just make it, as hard as you want it to be, I suppose. I can't talk highly enough about this game. It's almost an S for me. I'm gonna put it as an A, but this is, it's way up on the list for me. Love this game. We have Rocket Ranger, and this just kind of looked like it would be a cool game. Just by the box art, it looks kind of fun, and you play the game, and I can't get into it. I honestly don't know. I need you to tell me what's the fun part about this game, because it looks like it'd be cool, and I saw the pictures in the magazines and all that. I remember renting it at least twice. I rented it once, didn't care for it, and then I just kind of took it back later on. And then I tried it again. I was like, I look back at magazines. It's like I actually really like this game. I really should, and still can't get into it. And I don't know what it is. And even capturing this footage, I don't know what I'm missing about this game. I'm putting this game as an F only because it looks like it should be cool, and it's totally not. And I'll probably never come back to it. But if there's something cool about this game, let me know, and maybe I'm playing it wrong. Snoopy Silly Sports Spectacular is the name of this game. This is a game. I mean, it's full of just little mini games. It's a fun game, fun 2-player game. Something to play like on a Sunday afternoon. Kind of easy going. A couple of fun mini games. I mean, there wasn't a lot of games like this for its time, and the fact that it featured Snoopy was my selling point on it, because I loved Charlie Brown. I loved that the Peanuts universe and all that. And it was okay. I mean, it was fun. It's one of those. It's definitely more fun on a 2-player, but I mean, it's all right. It's a C. Could be better, but it's all right. Spy vs. Spy is a game I forced myself to like. That makes sense. I grew up reading Mad Magazine, had a subscription for years. Spy vs. Spy, definitely one of my favorite elements of Mad Magazine. And here's the game, in-game version. And you go around and you have to collect all the items to leave. And in the meantime, the other person, the other spy, is also trying to collect all the items, but you can set booby traps, so if they open the door, water dumps on them, put a little spring-loaded something, like a trap to, just kind of knock them out, and that puts them out of commission for a little bit, and then they'll come back and, try to find all the items and all that. It's not great. It's weird. I'm putting this game as a D. I have fond memories playing this game, but only because that's what I had available at the time, so I forced myself to like it. To me, it's a D. I think that's fair. Superman was probably the first NES game that when I played it, I was like, okay, this game definitely came from Japan. It just looks like it has that kind of Japanese chibi style something. It doesn't really tell you a whole lot about this game, where you have all these, you're Superman. You have all these abilities you can use. Your game's you're probably lost in the shuffle in this game without an instruction manual. But there's so much you can do in this game, and not a whole lot of on-screen clues to let you know what to do or where to go. Or it tells you, but not very well, and there's so much missing with this game. It could have been a great game. It should have just been a platformer or something, or even just make it into like a side-scrolling shooter or something. I don't know. You could have done a lot with a Superman game, and this is the Superman game we got. And we've kind of gotten the shaft with Superman games over the years, haven't we? And probably all started with this one. I started with the Atari 2600 version. I think I maybe like the Atari 2600 version more than the NES version, but I'm putting this game as an F, personally. And the text adventure games that Kemco had were probably their selling point. It was probably the highest game. Like, people who know Kemco probably know Kemco for these games, starting with Shadowgate. Shadowgate, to me, easily is in my top 10 favorite NES games of all time, probably even in my top 5. I don't know, I haven't done a list yet. Might be another video for another time. But I can't talk highly enough about Shadowgate. There was something about it, just like it was, it was text adventure, right? But it showed you the visuals on screen, so you can open, instead of just like open door, you can just click on the door, it'll open up, or click on something, it'll happen. Loved the graphics in this game. I loved the creativity, where it's like you see an enemy and you have to try something on him, doesn't quite work. Think about it again, try something else maybe. You die a lot, especially when you first start playing this game, and the text reads very gruesome deaths. When you die, use sword on self, and it talked about plummeting the sword, and he was like, oh my god, this game's it doesn't actually show it, but it certainly talks about it in enough detail to make you know exactly what's going on. I can't talk highly enough about Shadowgate. I love this game so much. To me, it's an S. It's a perfect S. Just talking about it makes me want to play it again. And if you liked Shadowgate, you will love Deja Vu. And Deja Vu plays just like Shadowgate, however, you are a detective, and you wake up with amnesia. So this is, instead of it being like this kind of like mythical lore area like Shadowgate is, it takes place in, old-timey, you're crime time detective, and you're trying to solve this thing that happened, and you don't know why you have amnesia, but you're finding all these clues, and you have to talk to people, and you get this list and travel around a little bit. Again, it plays a lot like Shadowgate. Use this item on that, talk to this person, give him money, whatever the case is. Fun game. I liked this game a lot. Not as much as Shadowgate. I'm putting this game as an A. I liked this game a lot. There's once upon a time I could kind of speedrun this game, and it's been so long since I played it, I don't think I could remember where to go or what to do. So it might be fun for me almost to play this game all over again for the first time. Almost like I had amnesia. Wait a minute. And if you liked Shadowgate and Deja Vu, then we have Uninvited. And Uninvited is very cool. Uninvited has that horror element. So it's going back a little bit more like Shadowgate, but set in modern time. So like you're in a house. You can, find items, and again, it's the same thing. Use this on that, open door, go here. Can't go here yet. You gotta get the key, you gotta get the whatever to say the magic spell and do the thing. A lot of trial and error in this game. It's a game, admittedly, I've never beaten, but I love this game a lot. I'm also putting this one as an A. All three of them, fantastic games. All three of them are worth checking out for sure. Some great games from Kemco, worth checking out for sure, and worth checking out these other videos that I've done in the past covering other publishers for the NES. Might be some hidden gems in there, maybe some games you forgot all about, maybe games that you rented back in the day, and you are brought back to a time in your childhood when you didn't have to pay bills, and you're like, oh man, yeah, I remember that game. I gotta check that game out again. And maybe you do. So I love doing these lists. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again real soon.